It's official. Beyond Cain and Abel's notorious spotlight in biblical narratives, Adam and Eve's lineage extends far beyond. Delve into the Book of Jubilees, where hidden chapters of humanity's inaugural family unfold. Picture discovering an age-old manuscript, revealing the untold stories of our earliest ancestors. Meet Azura, whose life intertwines with Abel and then Seth, illustrating the complex family ties of antiquity. Join us as we dive into the Book of Jubilees, uncovering the dark, early tales of humanity and the terrible secrets of our ancient ancestors. When people read the ancient pages of the Bible, they often focus on the well-known stories of Cain and Abel, the famous sons of Adam and Eve, leaving their other children in the shadows. This overlooks important parts of Genesis, chapters 5 verses 4 and 5, which hint at many more children, both sons and daughters, who didn't get as much attention in these sacred stories. These verses mention that after the birth of Seth, Adam had many children over 800 years, living up to 930 years in total. Yet, the stories of his daughters remain untold, hidden in the vast expanse of history. Venturing into the lesser-known Jewish traditions can reveal texts like the Book of Jubilees, offering a deeper dive into the tales of these overlooked figures. The Book of Jubilees, often considered an alternate version or B-side of Genesis, brings out stories and names that mainstream biblical texts might have considered too minor or even controversial to include. It's like discovering an ancient diary that shares gossip and secrets about the earliest human family, providing a richer picture of their lives. The Book of Jubilees takes readers on a journey back in time, introducing them to a world where divine messages and angelic beings play a central role in the unfolding of human history. This book categorizes history into periods called Jubilees, each spanning 49 years, and outlines a detailed timeline of events as told to Moses, originating from the 2nd century BCE. This text enriches the traditional narratives by adding layers of depth and context that were perhaps overlooked or omitted from the canonical texts. The Book of Jubilees is often called by two other names, the Lesser Genesis or Leptogenesis. It's a very old text that holds a special place in the religious traditions of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church and Beta Israel, which are Ethiopian Jews. There, people refer to it as the Book of Division. Despite its importance to these groups, other major Christian denominations like the Eastern Orthodox, Catholic, and Protestant churches, as well as Jewish sects, do not include it in their official religious texts. However, its role in shaping religious history, especially through its thorough narration of events from the beginning of the world to the time of Moses, structured around periods called Jubilees each lasting 49 years, is quite significant. The content of Jubilees is rich with information, including detailed stories and the names of Adam and Eve's daughters, such as Awan, Azura, and more, which aren't mentioned in the Bible's official texts. These extra details provide a fuller picture of the life of the earliest human families, shedding light on their experiences and the lessons in morality and spirituality that can be learned from them. This text was highly regarded and frequently referred to in the communities of early Christians and Jews. This is proven by its inclusion among the Dead Sea Scrolls and the fact that it was cited by early leaders of the Christian Church and Jewish scholars. Even though the Book of Jubilees isn't part of the officially recognized religious texts for many modern faith traditions, its influence on the development of religious thought, particularly in apocalyptic literature, is incredibly important. The fact that pieces of this text have been preserved, especially in the Dead Sea Scrolls, underscores its value and impact on history and culture. The stories and information it offers, while not part of the official religious narratives, enrich our understanding of the early biblical characters and the times they lived in, offering a deeper insight into the early stages of biblical history and thought. This ancient text is not just a relic, but serves as a living bridge connecting modern readers with the complex web of beliefs, traditions, and narratives of ancient communities. It shows how sacred stories are not static, but evolve over time, reflecting the changing beliefs, questions, and challenges of the people who treasure them. For anyone curious about the roads less traveled in biblical history, the Book of Jubilees offers a unique exploration into the heart of ancient spiritual tradition, demonstrating how every story is an intersection of divine revelation and human history. The Book of Jubilees, affectionately known as Little Genesis, offers an expanded take on the stories of creation, Adam and Eve's downfall, and the early dramas of humanity, adding new details and perspectives to the familiar biblical tales. This intriguing text, dating back to 700 BCE, opens a window into a deeper and more complex narrative that predates even this ancient manuscript. the mystery of its origins and the debate over its authorship, with some attributing it to Moses. Based on accounts of divine revelations received during his time on Mount Horeb, add layers of mystique to its study. This debate not only captivates those with a keen interest in the mystical aspects of religious history, but also underscores the broader discussions in biblical scholarship about the origins and interpretations of sacred texts. The Book of Jubilees proposes an alternative version of events where pivotal characters and stories, often overlooked in the canonical Bible, receive attention, suggesting a dynamic interplay between divine inspiration and human authorship. Similarly, the narratives surrounding Adam and Eve's lineage, particularly focusing on their less discussed daughters like Aklima, also known as Lulua or Awan, invite us to explore the nuanced social and familial dynamics of early human history. These stories bridge the gap between canonical scriptures and the rich tapestry of ancient traditions, shedding light on the broader spectrum of human experiences and relationships that shaped early society. The mention of Adam and Eve's other sons and daughters in the Bible hints at a complex family structure and societal formation that extends beyond the primary narratives centered on Cain, Abel, and Seth. This broader family narrative raises intriguing questions about the societal norms and practices of early human communities, including the implications of sibling marriages for population growth in the absence of alternative human families. Exploring these ancient traditions offers a deeper understanding of humanity's spiritual heritage and the foundational narratives that have influenced our cultural and moral development. It challenges us to consider the fluidity of these stories and the ways in which various historical, cultural, and theological contexts have shaped them. Through the lens of texts like the Book of Jubilees and the stories of Adam and Eve's numerous descendants, we gain insights into the complexities of early human society and the enduring power of these ancient narratives to provoke thought, debate, and wonder. See how an old book adds new twists to known biblical tales, connecting lost stories to our spiritual past. The forgotten children of Eden within the rich landscape of ancient Israelite heritage, the Book of Jubilees stood firm, showcasing a resilience that contrasted sharply with its peripheral recognition. This intriguing document, alongside the equally mysterious Book of Enoch, found a special place in the hearts of the early Christian community, even making its way into their diverse collection of sacred writings. Such inclusion serves as a powerful reminder not to dismiss the Book of Jubilees lightly, for it complements the wider biblical story, enriching well-known narratives with additional depth, despite being classified as apocryphal. Venturing deeper into the thicket of ancient Semitic and Abrahamic lore reveals Avan, or perhaps Awan, who is traditionally seen as Adam and Eve's first daughter. Her name, resonating with meanings of strength or perhaps misdeed in the ancient Hebrew language, places her in an intriguing position within these stories. She was not only a daughter, but also the spouse of Cain, the same Cain known for his dark deed against his brother and the mother to his children, including Enoch. Cain honored Enoch by naming a city after him, highlighting his efforts in city development after his exile. However, the story takes various turns, with Avan sometimes transforming into Kelima in different accounts, weaving a complex tapestry where fact and fiction intertwine, leaving us to wonder about the real story behind Cain's wife and sister. Ahura steps out from the narrative's shadows as another enigmatic daughter, finding herself linked with Seth, the child given to Adam and Eve as a form of divine solace after Abel's death. Seth's name, suggestive of replacement or compensation, symbolizes a new beginning and a heavenly gesture of comfort towards the mourning parents. Interestingly, Seth's descendants, especially highlighted through his connection with Ahura, are celebrated for their devoutness, leading up to Noah, who played a critical role in the biblical story of the flood. Thus, Seth and Ahura serve as crucial connectors in the sacred lineage, bridging the narrative from the dawn of creation to the pivotal moments of divine intervention and human perseverance. Despite the profound respect and importance attributed to these figures and their tales, there's an underlying layer of irony. Centuries later, we find ourselves piecing together the existence of these early personas from fragments of narratives once considered too provocative or peculiar for conventional scripture. The Book of Jubilees, along with its diverse cast, stands as a vivid illustration of the selective process that shapes religious texts over time. It reminds us that the formation of what becomes central or marginal in religious discourse is often influenced by considerations of authority, influence, and strategy rather than solely on theological grounds. This exploration into the Book of Jubilees and the broader context of biblical storytelling invites us to reflect on the intricate processes that define our spiritual heritage, offering a deeper appreciation for the multifaceted narratives that have shaped religious understanding across generations. Exploring the ancient world of religious stories takes us on a journey that shows how flexible and changing these stories can be. It's clear that people throughout history have shaped, added to, and sometimes even removed parts of these stories. This helps us understand why these tales are so important. This ongoing discussion about the characters and events in ancient religious stories keeps us interested and helps us understand our own cultural and spiritual roots better. When we look at different texts and traditions from the past, we see how they've changed and been interpreted over time. This helps us get a deeper and more complete picture of the spiritual ideas that have been passed down through generations. So, exploring ancient religious stories is like going on a fascinating journey. We learn how complex and meaningful these stories are and how they've influenced our own beliefs and culture. It's now unveiled. While Cain and Abel dominate biblical tales, the legacy of Adam and Eve's family branches out extensively. Enter the Book of Jubilees, an ancient manuscript that sheds light on the hidden chapters of humanity's first family. Imagine unearthing a forgotten text that reveals the untold stories of our earliest ancestors. Discover Azura, whose life intertwines first with Abel and then with Seth, highlighting the intricate family bonds of antiquity. Join us as we explore the Book of Jubilees, revealing the dark, early narratives of humanity and the profound secrets of our ancient forebears. When we delve into the Bible's ancient texts, the stories of Cain and Abel, the renowned sons of Adam and Eve, often overshadow the existence of their other children. This oversight ignores key passages in Genesis, specifically chapters 5 verses 4 and 5, which suggest Adam and Eve had many more sons and daughters who received little attention in these sacred writings. These verses indicate that following Seth's birth, Adam fathered numerous children over 800 years, living up to 930 years in total. Yet, the narratives of his daughters remain obscured, lost in the annals of history. Exploring lesser-known Jewish traditions can uncover texts like the Book of Jubilees, offering a more comprehensive view of these forgotten figures. The Book of Jubilees, often seen as an alternative or B-side to Genesis, highlights stories and names that mainstream biblical texts may have deemed too trivial or contentious to include. It's akin to finding an ancient journal filled with the secrets and intrigues of humanity's first family, providing a fuller portrayal of their lives. The Book of Jubilees transports readers back in time, into a realm where divine messages and angelic beings play pivotal roles in the progression of human history. This text organizes history into segments called Jubilees, each lasting 49 years, and provides a detailed chronology of events as conveyed to Moses. Written in the 2nd century BCE, this document enriches traditional narratives by adding layers of complexity and context that might have been missed or excluded from canonical texts. Referred to as the Lesser Genesis or Leptogenesis, the Book of Jubilees is a venerable text,